How's it going today, guys? Today we're going to be doing a review on the LEWS INSHORE SPEEDSTIK BLAIR WIGGINS Signature Series rod. So I've had these rods for about 4 years now, and we're going to be reviewing them. I'm going to tell you guys whether or not I think it's the worst rod or not. And with that being said, smash the like button on this video. That would help get out to more people, and hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's do that right now. So that being said, let's get started. As we get started with this video, I'm just going to tell you guys how we're going to do this review. We're going to start from the bottom of the rod and work all the way up to the top of the rod. So I got a a Saltist MQ right here. Review coming out on that in the future. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that. And we got a Penn Battle 2 reel. I just really use it for bait fishing. And yeah. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the bottom of the rod, this butt right here, it's kind of nice how it's rounded off because it won't dig into you. It's comfortable to hold, especially in a fight if you're holding the rod like this against your body. That's nice. That brings us up to the rod seat, which I wish they would have done some double locking. It only has a single locking on it right here, but I do like how they had it on top, so that way you're not going to be by accident maybe hitting it or anything like that. However, it is only single locking, which is a little bit disappointing, especially for the price point. That brings us to the next thing on here, which is the grip. They really pride themselves on this grip. It's even patent pending. However, I would really debate the money on them using that as a selling point, because they're deteriorating on both of these rods. It's been like that for a little while now. After about 2 years, they start to deteriorate, and I keep them in AC. They're only outside when I'm using them, and then I rinse them off. So I just don't think the grips are that great on these rods. They were nice at first, however they started to deteriorate, and it just starts to look bad, and that's not really great, especially for a price point on these rods. Anyways, the rod itself, it's got some great backbone in it. It's got a nice sensitive tip, and then that brings us to the guides. The guides are good on all these rods, except the rod at the tip, the guide at the tip of the rod, which is probably the most important guide on all these rods. I mean, like these bottom rod guides, they're good on pretty much any rod they're beefed up. But on the very top, I think they try to keep it very sensitive at the top for like using an inshore lure, or drifting back a small little live strip or something. But there's some defects with it, of course. So on this rod right here, mid-fight, this tip actually broke. I had to buy a new tip and try to glue it on. I didn't do it quite right, so it ended up being kind of crooked. I don't know if you guys can see that. And when that tip broke, it actually broke a little piece of the rod off as well. So that's not really a good thing at all. And I'm really hard on my gear. I'm not the easiest on them. They get put through some pressure. This is actually the rod that I had caught that big snook on in one of my very first videos. As you can see, I can't really be too gentle in some certain areas with my rods, and they really get put to the test with me, just because you got to do it sometimes to catch fish. You got to put your gear to the max test. So these guides at the top of the rod, they're not really that great. And I think there's a defect at the tip of the rod, because on my second rod right here, the tip is not broken on this one. However, the guide, like the steel ring that's in that guide, it came off in the middle of a fight. So I think it's maybe something with the pressure. We put a lot of pressure on it maybe, and then it just comes loose. I really think that's a defect of the rod, because I had both of these rods. I bought them at the same time. I used them about equally. And within like 2 trips of each other, both of those things happen. So it's got to be a defect at the top of the rod with the tip, and a little bit of the blank too as well. However, with that being said, I've been really kind of on the disappointed side with these rods. I would expect it more for the price point. I did get these on sale, so it was like buy one get the other one half off, and it was kind of a great deal at the time. I thought these rods were going to be better. However, I was a little bit disappointed, because I feel like there's other better rods for the same price point. My favorite rod around this price is the Fenwick HMG, and I've already done a review video on that, so be sure and check that out. However, these rods just fall a little bit below the par of where I expect them to be at this price point. And there's better rods you should be looking into rather than buying one of these rods. I hope this review was helpful, guys. I know I'm not saying these rods are the worst rods ever, but they're better than like a Walmart rod or like a cheap rod. I don't know about if maybe you could say a combo rod, just because, you know, I've run into more issues with this rod that I've had with like the 2 combo rods that I bought before from Penn, and I just haven't had issues like I've had with these rods. You know, both of these rods, out of all the rods I have, and I have a lot of rods, you can check out my channel and see the reviews on them. These have been like the lowest performing rods, and they're not like the most expensive rod, and they're definitely not the cheapest rods. However, for their price points, there's better rods to buy, I have to say. So with that being said, thanks for watching today's video, guys. Be sure to smash the like button on this video. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Let me know your comments down below. Be glad to hear it. And with that being said, signing off. Until next time.